Greetings. Welcome back to Ministry Monday. We spent much of last week talking about bad influences, so much that we didn't really get around to talking about how we protect people from evil communication and these relationships that become bad influences in people's lives. Well, let's examine that today. Well, the first thing I want to say to you is this. You can't protect people who don't want to be protected. Now, unfortunately, there are times when I've watched people try to micromanage other folks' lives with the intent of protecting them from themselves. Jesus never did that. Jesus let the young ruler, the rich ruler, make his decision and go away. He let Judas Iscariot make his decision. That was a tragic and terrible decision for Judas's life. There are very few people who can micromanage the lives of others. I don't want to be the individual who really doesn't have a full grasp of everything I need to do for my own life, trying to take care of somebody else's. Love people, love God, but you can't protect people who don't want to be protected. You can teach them, and it could go in one ear and out the other. That's their prerogative. That's their decision. Don't try to control them. The second thing that we can do is we can identify bad influences. I'm not talking about getting up at church Sunday and reading off a list of people who are bad influences, but you can preach and teach, and you can use biblical traits to describe those type of people who are a bad influence. You are preparing the flock to know the predators. The idolatrous nations that surrounded Israel had an influence on Israel to the point that Israel took on the identity of their neighbors. They lost their one God ideology and they built idols. We have to sound a warning that the same can happen in our world. We have to prepare our people for the reality that these destroyers are just outside the door. The third thing that I think we must do, and this perhaps has fallen short in many, many places, is we have to emphasize spiritual disciplines. People don't pray if the pastor/shepherd does not lead them to pray. They don't pray effectively if we don't equip them to pray effectively. One of my earliest posts on my website is a little blog that talks about how to establish a prayer program for a church of any size. The idea being that every church needs to have a corporate prayer plan. And in emphasizing that, we move ourselves toward a place where people can dig in and they can learn how to pray. The fourth thing that I would say in this journey is when someone begins to come under the sway of bad influences, and we begin to see that happen, I think it's important that we express our concern as a pastor. I express my concern in a personal way. In the Bible, that particular thing is called exhortation. Probably a good word for exhortation might even be to say that we're going to coach someone toward a better behavior or toward better decisions. It's expressing a concern and saying, you know what, here's a better way for you to approach that aspect of life. In my experience, when I do this, I join hands with the individual, or if it's a couple or a family, and I pray with and for them. I let them know that I love them. The decisions that they're involved in, they may ultimately make the wrong decisions. They may make the wrong choices. That's their prerogative. They can do that. But I will have done my job as a watchman on the wall, not getting up, screaming and ranting to an entire congregation about one person's difficulty. If an entire congregation needs to hear it, that's one thing. But I'm going to attempt to address the issue of carnality or worldliness or wrong influences with the person specifically who needs to hear it from me. And then finally, one of the things that I've found to work when I see someone who is under great duress and under attack is I simply ask them, how can I help you? What can I pray with you about? Is there something I can listen to you in regard? All of this helps. All of this helps. Our people are under attack. We have to prepare them to overcome the attack. That's our responsibility. We're the shepherds. We're also the watchmen on the wall to sound warning to them. God bless. Take a look at my book. See you next week.